On this episode of Local Film Talk, we're talking to Nathan Rittenhouse. If you want to get this and other great episodes of our show, subscribe to the Local Film Talk YouTube channel, and if you don't have time to watch, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Now do it. Welcome, folks, to another episode of Local Film Talk. This is the show where we talk to local filmmakers here in the Triangle about the projects they're working on and hopefully get some information that can help you with your own projects. I'm Bob Walters of Triangle Life TV.
And I'm Conrad Arnold, the Triangle Film Community. And today we're going to be talking with Nathan Rittenhouse, a local animator who just recently did his first live-action short comedy this past year that played at the Carborough Film Festival.
So let's talk a little bit about what happened this past week. We actually had a shoot for Zero Headspace, the sketch comedy group, and
we had a shoot yesterday. In fact,
you
and I were there 24 hours ago, making comedy magic happen.
We were over at Theater in the Park shooting a promo for the first show.
We were just
you were the director. Go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about it.
I did this a lot.
Yeah, that he did. He did.
I broke out the Dub Siemens thing. Woo! And then I said action and cut a lot. That was kind of cool. Very directorial. And I think we actually remember to record some shots. So it was cool, man.
We got our buddy Anthony Williams, who many of you may remember from an episode a couple weeks ago. We got him dressed as Hillary Clinton.
He made a great Hillary Clinton.
He was an excellent Hillary Clinton. He should be the real Hillary Clinton. They should just switch places.
And we had two Donald Trumps.
And two Donald Trumps. Two
amazing
Donald Trumps.
It'll be up to people to decide who is the best Donald Trump.
Oh, we should do a poll.
I think we should. We got
a poll.
We got two great Donald Trumps there.
Let people vote, win a prize.
What was crazy is usually the shoots are on. We got a lot more gear. I was Slate, all that. But man, you and I were just. We took
it was crazy run and gun, man. Yeah, we were the only crew, and there were four actors, and that was it.
Right here.
Yep.
That was it. That was all we had. No real Slate.
That's as DIY as you get. That's frugal right there.
It was punk, man. It was a punk shoot.
So before we get to our Nathan Rittenhouse interview, I just wanted to put a quick call out. You may have noticed I got some new stuff in the background right here. These are some picture frames I got. They are 11 by 17, which some of you may know is the standard size for a mini movie poster. The smaller mover posters you get out there, 11 by 17, and I thought that it would be a cool idea to go ahead and get some frames and stick them in the background and put out the call to you, the filmmakers in the audience, who have projects that you've made posters for, to, send us some posters. Help add to our backdrop here. Get us, I don't know how we'll do it.
Posters can always be mailed to Triangle Film Community. We actually do have a mailing address, so if anyone who wanted to have a poster on Bob's background, they hit me up on Facebook. I can give them the address to mail the poster to.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's some people out there with some really cool posters, and I would love to have them in the background and be able to give you a free plug. So go ahead and get those posters
free
to us.
Free advertising, people. How can you balk at that?
How often does that come along? You just give us the poster and we will talk about it. That's all you should need.
It's not even a tweet. It's an actual poster in the back of a video, which is awesome.
It'll probably be up there for a couple weeks. We'll talk about it. It'll be in the episodes on YouTube or wherever in the future. Anytime somebody watches this episode, they'll see your poster in the background. How can you turn that down?
I don't think you can.
So get us your submissions, submit us your poster, and you may see it right there on the back wall. Do it, people. You will not be disappointed.
I agree.
But for now, I think that takes care of all the business. So let's go ahead and get straight to our interview with Nathan Rittenhouse. I think the film crit Hulk conversation will just be you and Conrad because I have not read that book.
I got to be honest, it's been a while since I've read it, so I don't remember everything in it.
Okay, well,
But I will be happy to talk some Rick and Morty
I
with you.
reading it like about 2 years ago and thinking it was really good.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I didn't find it till just maybe a month and a half ago, or maybe just a month ago, and pretty much blew my mind. And I wish I would have stumbled across it 2 years ago. It would have saved me from reading lots of really crappy books on screenwriting.
And there's a lot of that's for sure.
So what?
Yeah.
It's based on a blog?
Yeah, Film Crit Hulk is a blogger. Writes in all caps.
Well, he is Hulk. He writes in character, as though he is the Incredible Hulk.
Okay. He's quite the capital letters mean he's angry.
Uh,
He's just Hulk, man.
it's just Hulk. That's how Hulk speaks.
The cover of the book is a green arm smashing a typewriter.
Yes. Yes.
To talk, I remember the chapters on like 5-act structure in Shakespeare,
Mhm.
Alternate structures for screenplays, writing good female characters, all that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's really the most comprehensive book I've ever come across on screenwriting, and it's one of the most comprehensive books that I've ever read on being an artist and the job of an artist.
Okay.
The book starts out with a lot of theory, and it's very dense. And if you read the Hulk version, there are actually two versions of the book in the book. The first version is the Hulk version, and it's in all caps. And the second version is the Bruce Banner version, and that's normal, with lowercase and caps. I didn't find that out till 3 chapters in. Well, the book is already very challenging, the first 3 chapters, because it's all theory and it's making you think really hard and critically. And then it's on top of that, it's ridiculously hard to read because it's in all caps. But once you find the Bruce Banner version, it's great. It really talks about the job of an artist, the kind of the history of storytelling, what storytelling's been traditionally used for, and he would argue and lay out that storytelling's historically been about conveying truth in some form. So whether it's some sort of universal truth, well, typically, yeah, it's about some sort of universal truth about being a human being. And so it's really great because that's kind of my background, and my background started out in fine arts and the visual arts to 2D. I majored in two-dimensional studio art in college, and so during that entire time, I was trying to develop my skill, my drawing and painting skills. But at the same time, I was trying to figure out, well, what is my subject matter? What should I be talking about? Art is communication, and what should I be saying? And that actually I was always interested in film, but before college, it was in animation. And then during college, when I was trying to figure out, well, what do I communicate with my art? What subjects should I be talking about? I realized that the things that I really wanted to talk about are actually too complex to talk about in a two-dimensional still image. And I realized that really what I should be doing is trying to make films. And that the medium of film was really where I could talk about these bigger, more complex ideas.
So how did you finally get into computer animation and start pursuing filmmaking?
Well, I actually didn't get into necessarily computer animation. What happened is, per se, I did grad school, and and I had to be a TA or a graduate assistant I essentially had to work for the school in order to pay for my graduate education. So they did this K through 12 education program, and I worked as a producer where I did everything. I would so for each class, they would have a teacher assigned to the class. I worked that year. I did 7th and 8th grade science, and there was a teacher. She would create all of the curriculum, and then she would actually teach it live on camera, and I in a studio. And I would run the cameras. We had these 2 cameras set up, and they were automated, and I would be running a switcher. And then as she would teach a lesson, she would have these illustrations, but they wanted animated illustrations. And this was in 2006. And in 2006, motion graphics was exploding, was just blowing up. Maybe about 2 years prior, a small shop out in the Midwest called MK12 had started creating these amazing.
Remember MK12, man? They got some great pieces.
Yes, yes,
they're
absolutely.
out of what, Kansas City?
I think you might be right. I think it is Kansas City.
It's a city
right.
you wouldn't expect, but
yes, yes, absolutely.
I remember I saw this really cool thing with like astronaut, like cowboy astronaut kind of stuff.
Yes, yes.
Oh man, MK12.
And it was mind blowing. Essentially, they were taking the graphic design, like mid-century modern and Swiss graphic design.
It was kind of like the fad at the time. The whole
yes,
Swiss
absolutely.
revival. Yeah.
But what it did is it kind of blew open this new industry within design, and so all these big shops started opening up, and so there was PSYOP up in New York, and there's Buck out in LA. They're both still there. They're both thriving, and they're both the top 5 in the country, possibly the world. But there were a ton of shops opening up all over the place, and it became something that every graphic designer wanted to get into. Well, I got into it because kind of accidentally, when I got hired by this this division of the university's educational press. It was called HomeSat. They weren't ready for me. The teacher was still writing the curriculum, or she was still teaching another class, and so they had a month where they said, "Hey, we don't have anything for you to do. Why don't you just take this month and go and learn stuff?"
Oh, there you go. It's an independent study.
Right, exactly. And so I said, "Okay, that sounds awesome." So I went up into their editing suite. They had these actually really nice editing suites, and I essentially lived there for a month. And I opened up this program that was called After Effects. But when I opened it up, it took me about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to figure out that essentially it was Photoshop with a timeline. And so
That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Animate anything. And so that kind of blew my mind. And at that same time, I discovered MK12. And so I just started creating all kinds of really goofy, some dumb, some terrible, some interesting, and some promising animations.
Okay.
And that's actually how I got into it.
So I noticed you have you did a short film called The Man, which people can find on your Vimeo channel.
Yes.
It's just Nathan Rittenhouse on Vimeo.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about making this. This looks like it was probably about 4 or 5 years after you first got into After Effects.
Yes. I essentially had some downtime working as a freelancer. It's very normal. You have those times. And SparkCon was coming up, and I had gotten to know the individual who was managing the Film Spark portion of SparkCon, and I met up with her, and she said she was doing Film Spark, and hey, you should make something. And so I had some downtime and said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do an animated short film. And so I sat down and wrote something out and revised it, and then went through the production process of creating an animated short, which is just a lot of work.
So this one was done in After Effects, right?
It was all animated in After Effects. It
Okay.
was,
Character animation and After Effects, man.
yes,
Beast.
it was
I
brutal.
I tried to do a little bit, all the parenting and everything. I was
Mm,
a
yeah.
little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this.
Did
After
It's
they
Effects
free
do all
file
those?
though, right?
After Effects is not designed for character animation.
No, not at all.
How did you learn about screenwriting and such back when you did The Man?
I'm trying to think if I had really even read any screenplay books up to that point. I don't think I had in 2009. I think I just sat down and had this idea and wrote it out and
Just kind of winged it, huh?
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I really wanted to make something, and if I think I would have started reading a screenwriting book, I would have realized how little I know or I knew.
Right,
And
right.
then I would have said, oh, no, wait, I need to read these books and I need to spend a couple of years writing. And instead, that ignorance allowed me to actually go in there and make something.
Right. The lack of knowledge plus the enthusiasm worked to your advantage.
Correct. Correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Now, however,
screenwriting books are also a great way to start procrastinating on getting a screenplay written. There's a
right.
lot of people who, thankfully, there's tons of them, so I can never start that screenplay until I read
Yes.
it.
Yes. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, it is you say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to write an hour every day, and then it becomes, all right, I'm going to read a screenwriting book for an hour every day.
hmm It's kind of like all that time you spend screwing around on the web. That's research. I'm just doing research for the screenplay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so that was, I guess, well, this says, I guess it was 4 years ago that you uploaded this to Vimeo. It was, well, almost 7 years ago that you actually made the short.
Correct.
So in the intermeeting time, you've still been doing freelance um, graphic design?
Yes. Well, graphic design, I've kind of been all over the place, or my career's been all over the place. I worked for Insomniac Games for a year, and I did UI design for PlayStation 3 games,
Okay.
as well as I did some motion graphics work and animation there as well.
Now, how'd you
Um,
get UI? I mean, you're just like you're designing the different interfaces for the health stats and all that stuff.
yeah, the HUD system, the
Okay,
menus. So yeah.
that's interesting. As you know, it's that's not something that I, off the top of my head, I would say, oh, a graphic artist, you can get a job doing this, but and especially for a big company like Insomniac Games. But it's interesting to see the diversity of topics you can go into.
Well, I would say, and this is not to get into I think our other conversation, but I will just hint at the other conversation. Back in the mid 20th century in America, if you went to school and you got a design degree or even like a fine arts degree, you could
Hmm.
go and you could work in any field. You could just walk in there and people would let you learn on the job,
Mm-hmm.
and they were fine with that. And today that's just not the case. Today, they back then they said, oh, hey, yeah, we see your portfolio, we see you understand the principles of design, you understand composition and color theory, and you understand how to manipulate pattern and texture and line to create good design. So we know you'll figure this out. But today, that's not the case. So I would say that the fact that I got the job at Insomniac Games, I would say is very rare and is not something that is common at all. In any of the industries today, we're in a world of specialization for the most part,
Right.
when it comes to design. So are you a web designer? Are you an app designer? Are you a UI designer? If you're a UI designer, you can't just be a generalist. They really want you to be an app UI designer, or they want you to be a web UI designer. Are you a print designer? Do you specialize in branding? It's really hard to be a generalist and kind of go and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I say this with my grandfather. He went to design school back in the 40s, and then he went on to have this wild and crazy career where he worked in television, and he worked in textiles, and he worked in flooring and wallpaper. He's kind of all over the place because he had those basic skill sets, and back then you could kind of go and pursue anything,
Right.
and people would give you a chance.
So you did The Man back in 2009, and it wasn't until, sorry, I almost knocked my earbuds out. It wasn't until just this year that you decided to direct another short. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what made you decide to do it again, and tell us a little bit about the film.
Okay. I first of all, I wanted to make a film last year. I had this monkey on my
You take
back.
a pretty long break since your last short.
Absolutely, and and a big part of that was just because I was busy. I was just working.
Right.
After I left Insomniac Games, I opened up a small motion graphics studio in Durham, and that kept me very, very busy. So when I wasn't working, I was trying to catch up on sleep. No, I've been growing, trying to grow as a filmmaker and a writer and develop my writing, and it really I've been doing a lot of reading. I was doing a lot of reading kind of since 2008, up through even probably 2013, and really 2013 was where I started to actually write and sit down and start brainstorming ideas and trying to
Right.
develop them into short films or feature film ideas, into treatments. And so it wasn't till, and then at the end of 2014, a friend of mine made a feature film, and he was screening it. He was kind of traveling around. He and his wife were kind of traveling up and down on the East Coast, and they were screening it at different local venues, and it was a way for them to essentially share their film as well as make some money. So they were selling tickets and through Eventbrite, and so they screened their film in Hillsborough, and I went and I saw it, and I was just like, man, it was just a kick in the ass, and I said, I have to make something.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get off my ass, and I need to make something happen. And so that put the monkey on my back to shoot something. I had to shoot something. I had to shoot something. I had written an initial script. Well, not initial. It was an initial version. It had been revised several times, but it just didn't work. And what it was the first 3 pages didn't work. So I just lopped off those first 3 pages, and all of a sudden I had an idea that worked. And I said, okay, I'm happy enough with this that I will spend money on it, and I will share it with other people and ask them to help me make this. And that's how it got made.
Okay, so you felt really strongly about paying everybody when you made this production.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as a freelancer, as freelancers, we are often asked to work for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. There are many reasons, but I think one of the big reasons is just that people, one, don't have a lot of money to spend, but they want to make something, and two, they don't realize the cost. They don't realize what you're worth. They don't realize how much hiring a video production professional or a graphic designer actually costs.
Right,
And so they don't realize that if you were working on a client project, and let's say an agency hired you, you'd be charging them like $75 an hour or $80 an hour, or a day rate of $400 or $500 a day.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea about that. So part of it's just ignorance. So I'm a firm believer that everyone should get paid because everyone that I worked with, and I think pretty much anyone who is in the indie film scene, they want to become a professional. They want to be doing this for their job. And so I think um, if you want to be a professional, the best way, one of the best ways to become a professional is to act like a professional and
Right.
to treat your cast and crew with respect and value them. And part of that is just paying them some money. And I'm just a small indie filmmaker, and frankly, my budget came from my wife. She took on this freelance art project, and the money she made from that she gave to me because she was crazy enough to believe in this small film that I wanted to make, and so and it was a very meager budget. It was not at all, much at all, but I said, okay, here's how much I have. Let me divide this up proportionally, um, and try and pay my cast and crew. So everyone got paid. It was not a lot, but the people who got paid the least, at least they made enough money where they could go out to a really nice restaurant and maybe take, a spouse or a friend out to a
Mm-hmm.
nice restaurant and have a nice meal.
Food
But
and gas money. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. But I think it's one, it's respectful, but two, I think as a filmmaker, I think it goes a long way in winning over your cast and crew's trust and respect, and and that will benefit you in the current project, and that will benefit you as a filmmaker in future projects.
Right.
Those
Right.
individuals will be much, much more willing to jump on your project, knowing that you treated them with the respect, knowing that they'll probably get paid a little bit, and it's not going to be, oh, I'm just going to go and work my ass off for 2 days and maybe have something to show for it that I can put in my reel, or maybe not. I don't know because it's the small independent no name guy or gal.
Well, and you won't be expected to go out and do a bunch of work for free because you didn't demand the same of others.
Correct.
So, what was the biggest? What were some of the lessons you learned? What did you come away with this having learned?
So I would say what I learned is in future productions, I will make sure I lock down someone to run slate and someone to be a script supervisor um, before I actually shoot it because uh, the actors did a terrific job, but I saw things in the editing process. I edited it as well, and in the
Mm-hmm.
editing process, I mean, and maybe this is uh, common, but not as common as what I felt. My actors did a great job, but I saw things and I just thought, why did I let them do that? Why didn't I see that? I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that. Why didn't I make a change or an adjustment while I was directing them, or why didn't I have them do this? And I realized that because I was so busy running slate and making sure we were getting all the shots and trying to mark the good takes, and while my mind was kind of engaged with those other things, I wasn't able to give my actors as much attention as they deserve.
Right.
And so they did a great job, and I stand by their work, and I think both of them did a great job. But I think that they could have done an I could have they could have done an even better job had I been fully focused on them and giving them better feedback and seeing things and making adjustments like a director needs to be doing. Um, so yeah, that was really the big takeaway for me. The other thing that was a big takeaway for me is to hire the best people you can you can find.
Right.
Um, because it's just so important, and especially
Well, like you
you're
said, when you're doing a small shoot, not a lot of crew and everything, the more expertise you have at a given position, the less time you have to spend overseeing what they're doing.
Correct. You can completely trust them, and my crew was great. They were on the ball the entire time. They are both total pros, and they kicked ass. I mean, I was so happy with the work they did.
So that one is
Who was
actually
the
out on.
crew on offset?
Uh,
I
yeah, yeah. Aaron Bidikofer was the audio engineer,
right.
and Torin Bradshaw was the cinematographer.
Okay.
Aaron is pardon me a second there. Aaron is a local guy. I don't know if you guys know him or not.
I don't know
He's
him personally, but I know of him.
okay. Yeah,
He works.
he plays in a jazz band that does a lot of gigs in the area.
Okay.
Um,
And I know he works with Brian DeContreras quite a bit.
okay, yeah, yeah. And then Torin Bradshaw was actually a great find. He's a sophomore at the School of Fine Arts, UNC School of Fine Arts, out in Winston-Salem. He's a sophomore, but on set he had just as much maturity as a seasoned, grizzled vet. So I see great things in his future.
It sounded like you got a pretty good reception at the Carborough Film Festival. It's have you submitted to many other festivals? And what's been your festival experience?
Yes, I did submit it to maybe 7 or 8 film festivals via Film Freeway, which is. Are you guys familiar with Film Freeway?
We used it for
Okay.
Film Spark this past year.
Okay. Yeah. So I did 7 or 8 film festivals. So far, I've been in 3. I got accepted to 3, including the Carborough Film Festival, and yeah, I mean it was amazing at the Carborough Film Festival having around 300 people, seeing your film. It's an amazing feeling, especially when they're responding to it as intended.
Right,
And
right,
they're
yeah.
laughing and clapping, and it's just amazing. They're laughing at all the right moments, and they're finding humor that maybe was not that funny, but they're so into it, they're so taken with it that they're laughing and just enjoying the little moments. So yeah, it was fantastic. I felt very privileged, frankly, to have been chosen as one of the 30 out of 400 submissions. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's my first live action short film, and it feels pretty fucking great
Right,
to know that I made the cut.
right. Well, yeah, it's been really great talking to you, Nathan, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I feel like we just scratched the tip of the iceberg. And I'm looking forward to hearing more of your thoughts on, like we were talking about the local scene and screenwriting and stuff.
That
So,
sounds great, Bob. I would absolutely love to come on again. It's been a blast. Thank you for having me, and it's been great talking with you and Conrad.
It's
excellent.
been great
Well,
talking to
thank
you.
you for coming on. Where can people find more of your stuff?
They can find more of my stuff at nathanrittenhouse.com.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my site for my writing, directing, and editing. And then if you're interested in seeing my design work, you can hop on over to behance.net and then just type in Nathan Rittenhouse. And I believe I'm the only Nathan Rittenhouse on Behance. There are lots of other Nathan Rittenhouses doing really cool and crazy stuff, but I believe I'm the
But
only
accept no
one
substitutes.
who's the designer. Exactly, exactly. If the guy has a crazy beard and glasses, it's not me.
Not him. Not the Amish preacher, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes. Christian apologist.
There you go. And the Vimeo page, Nathan Rittenhouse on Vimeo, where you can go and you can see his animated short film The Man, and also his recent live action short Offset.
Yes, and also if anyone is out there, if you're a filmmaker of any stripe, if you're a crew person, or if you're an actor person, or if you're a screenwriter or a cinematographer or a director, and you'd like to get in contact and talk about anything, I'd be happy to talk with you. And I'm always looking for new projects to get involved with, and opportunities to collaborate.
Absolutely. Hit them up, people. Well, thanks again for coming and talking to us. And, of course, as always, thank you to my co-host, Conrad Arnold. Conrad, what do we got coming up in the future?
Well, like I said a little earlier, on Friday, coming up at the Cary Theater, we have the Best of Film Spark. It's an encore screening of the top 8 films from this past year.
Cool.
Yeah. And then in March sometime, I think it's March 17th, we're having an encore screening of Unexposed's program that they put together for us, Film Spark, which is a collection of local experimental films. And we should have a networking night coming up pretty soon this month. I just got to get it on the group.
Yep. Keep your eye on the Triangle Film Community Facebook group for that update.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Nathan, for being on the show. Thank you, of course, Conrad, for it's always awesome to have you on here helping me out with the show. And thank you to everybody watching, both live and, watching on the YouTube channel or listening to the podcast. This has been another episode of Local Film Talk. You can always go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Local Film Talk YouTube channel, and be the first to get our new episodes. And if you don't have time to sit in front of a screen and watch all this stuff, you can always just subscribe to the podcast over on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Local Film Talk, and you can always see more of our stuff over at Triangle Life TV and also on the Triangle Life TV Facebook page. Check out more from Conrad. Well, he does the Triangle Film Community. So check out the Facebook page, Triangle Film Community Twitter page.
We do have the website, trianglefilmcommunity.com.
The website. I always forget the freaking website. Yes.
I know.
He knows. He knows I don't go there. And I'm a bad person because of it.
You are. We try to overlook it, but we can't overlook it forever.
Oh, man. And you got to call me out on air, too. Man, what the hell? So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll join us for our next episode next week. This is, like I said, this has been Local Film Talk, and we'll see you all next time. All right, cool. I think that went really well. Thank you, Nathan, for coming on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I will get to editing this tonight, and hopefully have it posted tomorrow morning.
All right. Sounds great.
I will send you all the links and everything, okay?
Sounds great. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to sending it out.
Yeah. And we'll hit you up sometime to, like we said, talk about the graphic design scene and screenwriting and all that stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about the freelance scene as well, and just kind of what's going on in the kind of communication design industry, because I think there's a big shakeup that's happening right now that's going to affect a lot of people, and I don't think many people are aware of it, and that's because, and thus not a lot of people are talking about it. But I would love to talk about that too. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think maybe your viewers might be interested in it. But we can talk about that some more, and maybe figure out if that's something you guys want to pursue. But as far as talking about it as a full episode, because I think it could be. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Conrad and I are going to record the intro, but it's been awesome chatting with you, and I'll let you know as soon as the episode comes out.
All right. Sounds great, Bob. Take care. Have a good night. Take care, Conrad.
Have a good night.
You too. Take it easy.
All right.